Okay, enough of that. Hello, everybody. Hello out there. Welcome back. I'm Aaron from Solace, back at you with you for another office hours. And once again, I have my good friend Tom. Tom, I'm going to bring you in here.
Hey,
Tom.
How's it
Hey,
going?
hello. I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Looking forward to this.
Yeah. So, special guest Tom. You're on here all the time. We're gonna have to start calling this the Tom and Aaron show or something instead. Uh, it, not that you're not special, you're pretty special.
I'm
Happy to
special
have
in my
you.
own special way. Yeah.
That's right. So hello out there. We are broadcasting live on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and on Twitter. Here for an hour to answer some questions if you have them. Please comment in the chat. Say where you're tuning in from. Say hello. We always love it when regulars drop by. And if you have a question for us, put it in the chat. We'll be happy to talk about it. That's why we're here. Yeah, Tom, you want to say anything before we kind of kick off?
Not really. Except we love the questions. Keep the questions coming in. That's what this is all about.
Oh, look at my hair. It's got a weird. I look like Johnny Bravo. All right, so I'm just going to share this. I put up a slide here for a few announcements before we kick things off. Let's see. Obviously, upcoming. Happy May, everybody. By the way, happy May. Hope you are well and safe and safe wherever you are. In a couple of weeks, May 19th, we're going to be hosting the EDA Summit virtual conference, the first one that we're doing. And it's all about event-driven architecture. There's going to be some content in there for developers as well, but we have a bunch of different speakers from all across the industry, some real thought leaders. So be sure to sign up for that. It's free, and yeah, check it out. I could pull up the website here, I guess. So yeah, eda.summit, edasummit.com. There it is. Sign up. Check out the speakers. There's a bunch of speakers here. Commander Chris Hatfield. I'm very excited about this. But yeah, should be pretty. Nothing to do about EDA. We're talking about astronauts in space and stuff. So, so that's coming up. So be sure to sign up for that. That'll be great. Hot off the press, Solace 9.9 just got released yesterday or earlier today. I don't know. My email, it was within the last 24 hours. So that is awesome. Tom, you actually just found out about this when I told you before we started.
Yeah, I was late reading my email, so it's like, ooh.
So there we go. It's so fresh that not even the Solace people know everything about it. So we've been looking forward to this for a while. It's a little bit delayed, but it's out now. We're very happy about it. Some cool features in there that were, I'm sure there's customers out there waiting for some of these features, but some of the big ones been asked for a lot. Solace has had replay in the broker, integrated into the broker for quite some time. However, it was done by timestamp, right? So you could specify, down to a particular second, how far back you want the replay to start, right? So you say 9 a.m. or 8:35 and 22 seconds, start the replay from there. Of course, you want something even more fine-grained. If you're a consumer that's receiving messages and at some point you crash out and everything gets lost, you might know the exact last ID of the message that you received. We can now do a replay by ID. So much more fine-grained control on that.
Yeah, it strikes me that's more for the kind of crash recovery kind of use case, maybe more than the more kind of event sourcing style of things. But yeah, I'm sure it's going to be massively useful. Lots of people were asking for that. And as you say, right, it's super fine-grained control, right? You're picking an individual kind of message from which to recover
from here.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I think you're right about the use case for it, though. You're right. I mean, I think by time, event sourcing can probably be a little rougher. You're just going to say from the start of the day or from the start of time or whenever. This seems to be much more kind of like, yeah, exactly, crash recovery or some kind of corrupted state, and you need to start at exactly the right spot. Obviously, though, consumers should be written to handle duplicate messages, or at least do some checks on them. That's always a kind of a best practice, I would say, to help, just in case, a little sanity check. So, even if you get a dupe, it's possible, But anyway,
do we want to get into an idempotency versus sequence number discussion?
No,
I don't think so. Not just yet.
Transactional commits and all sorts of two-phase. One of the new features that they added to support this particular functionality was the concept of a new unique message ID in an HA pair, and this is going to actually work across DMR links in a cluster. So Solace has kind of built a new identifier. I think I've seen it because I actually stumbled onto this accidentally and I didn't know what it was, and I raised a support ticket about it. And now that I see, when Solace got released and the release notes about it, I think it makes sense. It's actually a really long GUID looking thing. It's about 30 characters long. So I think that's the unique message ID that I kind of happened to find.
Yeah, it's called, hang on, just let me check my notes. Replication Group Message ID.
Replication Group Message ID. So maybe that wasn't the thing I saw. Anyway, I was playing around with the JMS API on the weekend, and I stumbled onto something that I didn't know what it was. So maybe that's it, maybe not. Anyway, the other kind of noteworthy thing in 9.9 is we have full support for MQTT 5.0. It's been EA for a little while. It's been early access, but now it is actually part of the broker. MQTT 5, Solace has supported MQTT 3, 3.1.1 for 5 years at least, 5 or 6 years. I remember Mark Spielman kind of giving us the lowdown at I think we were still in Whistler, Tremblant back then at one of our our Solace global get-togethers. And anyway, MQTT 5.0 offers a couple new cool features that make it a lot more usable in kind of standard messaging, enterprisey type of use cases. The big one being headers, user property headers, to allow things like request reply. That was something that didn't exist natively in MQTT 3.1. I mean, you could build your own request reply by just parsing the payload and responding back to a reply topic in the payload. But 5.0 offers this built-in. Right?
I think that request reply one is a big one, right? So user headers doesn't sound very exciting. What does that enable? Request reply. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
And of course, since Solace is a multi-protocol broker, and we support kind of broker to protocol, protocol to protocol translation. AMQP, Solace's native SMF. In JMS, people use these user property different headers all the time. To do selectors, to do you can pass in a schema ID as part of the message application type. You can have correlation IDs, all sorts of header properties that MQTT didn't support before, and now it does. So that is awesome news. So we're very excited about this. I actually just downloaded it, literally just before we went live.
Aaron, just before you go there, a couple of things. I see one of the, apart from request reply, one of the other really good things about user properties in MQTT 5 is going to be its mapping to REST messaging. Right? It's going to make that a lot easier. So you can put things like content type in there. That's going to be really good. Just to be clear, MQTT 5, we don't support the full protocol yet, but it is. I think you said we now fully support it, Aaron. I think what you meant by that is it's now a general availability of the support of MQTT 5. Yeah,
that's right. Did I not say that? Okay, I'm sorry. So it's not the full spec. And on our webpage, it's actually in the release notes. You can see there is a page that kind of goes through the MQTT 5 specification, and Solace has kind of annotated it, kind of like the features that we support and everything. So if you're very keen about a particular feature, go and check it out to make sure that yay or nay we support it or not. I guess that would be something to do. But let me just pull up a terminal here. So literally just before I just did a Docker pull. I did a Docker pull. Solace pops up. So the standard edition broker from Docker Hub. And now I have it as one of my images. Here it is, 5 days ago. So they actually posted it to Docker Hub about 5 days ago, and we could actually play with that a little bit if we feel like. I'm gonna just check the comments here. Hey, Gary's here. Hey, all right, welcome. Hey, glad to have you tuning in. How you doing, man? Hope all is well. You're safe in Bangalore there. I'm going to put up one of these banners. Ask a question. That's right. If you have a question, ask us. Solace, Tom and Aaron are here to answer some questions. So, what do you feel like doing, Tom? Should we actually boot this broker up and see if it looks a little bit different? I'm kind of keen to try this replay message ID. Or should we check out the community? I mean, what do you feel like doing?
Why don't we pull the broker up?
Yeah.
Let's give that a go.
Why not? All right. So I'm just gonna. To refresh myself, I'm going to just go to solace.com/. getting started because I can never remember the full Docker pull command. That's not what I want. Come on, Aaron. Event broker. Let's go to try this for free. Let's just click on that. That's probably a faster way of doing it.
Now, while you're doing that, Aaron, there is a feature note or a change to some of the defaults that you're going to be very excited by.
Uh-oh. So what's that?
Yeah. So I'll tell you what we should do is bear that in mind, and we'll create a queue and have a look and see.
All right.
You might spot what I mean.
Oh, okay. Now I'm curious. Blah 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 blah. So scroll down here. So this is one of our getting started guides. It's a web page. I'm just gonna go ahead and copy this whole thing. I assume the ports are still the same there, Tom. 8008 for.
I can't read that. Can you zoom in a bit?
How's that? Boom.
That's much better.
All right, let's just copy this. One thing that is missing from this Docker run command that I like is the restart unless stopped option, which means that if you reboot your broker, it actually automatically comes back up. That's something that I like, but I gotta load it. No, it is already loaded. Oh, so what's it complaining about? Blah blah blah. Oh, it's probably sudo.
No, you've already got.
Oh, it's because it's because I already have one called Solace. Yeah, Solace.
Can you zoom in a bit?
99. Even more?
Yeah.
Gee
there we go.
Tom. There we go.
Yeah, that's a bit too much. Taking the mickey now.
All right. So that's booting up.
That's
Docker PS. There it is. It's up for 12 seconds. Excellent. Let's get a. Let's see if it's localhost 8080. Yes, please. Probably is not there yet. Nope. Need a few more seconds.
Quick way, how can we tell? Yeah, how can we? Ooh, okay. Nice. One thing I like doing is if the broker's taking a while to start up, is do docker logs -f to see what the log files are doing.
Yeah,
that can be quite a good
logs
-f. Yeah, there you go.
And it is running pre. That looks like we're okay. I mean, it's working. So there we go. Refreshy. Admin. Let's zoom in a bit more here so Tom can. All right. There's my default VPN. That is what I want. So what's new? Is this a game that I have to try and figure out what's new and different?
Yeah,
create a queue, huh?
Create a queue. Yeah.
All right. Do you know what queue name I'm going to use?
Test. I don't know.
Nah, Q1, the greatest Q name of all time. Oh, hey, look at that. That's bigger.
Yeah, it used to be 1.5, right? Or
yep, 1.5. Yep. It's 4 on the appliance, but it's been 1.5 on the software broker for a while.
So some of the Q defaults have changed, huh?
Oh, hey. Look at that. Okay, everybody out there listening in the world, I have been complaining about this and trying to guide customers about this for years. Our alert thresholds for things like connections and subscriptions and all sorts of other things. The default 80 and 60. I don't know if you can see that here, Tom, but 80 and 60 is our high and our clear thresholds for everything. But that is because you're expecting to operate with some number of connections and some number of subscriptions, right? So, but with queues, if everything is working great, queues should be completely empty. That's generally how things are going. Consumers should be able to keep up. So if your queue starts to fill up, I don't want to wait until 80%. So hey, happy days. We're now defaulting to 25. That is great.
I knew you'd like that one. You've been talking about that for years.
For years. But I mean, I always got the answer that it was it's legacy and it can't be changed because it might break some stuff. And I guess enough things broke at 80 that they decided it was important to set it to 25. So that is going to save some customers some problems. I think that's awesome. That is awesome.
I mean, I think the answer you used to give, Aaron, was really good. Was that how we typically say to people, and this is probably a point that's worth making, is you need to think about your queue sizes. It's tempting just to say, oh, do you know what? Every queue is going to consume all the spool. That's not my approach to things. Put it that way. I don't think that's best practice, right? Because one queue can then clobber the entire broker.
Take out everything. Yeah, one bad app.
Yeah. So our kind of best practice approach is look at what that queue's for in the consumer, look at your SLAs for that consumer. How long can it be down for before it's a problem? You're going to want to be able to store messages for at least that period of time. So look at your average message rate, your average message size, and multiply it by that SLA time, right? Fine. Yep. That's kind of the best practice. You probably want to add 25% or something, just so you've got some guard banding there. The problem with that 80% threshold is that means, let's say you've got a 4 hour, you've got a 4 hour queue. It's going to consume 4 hours. It's going to fill up with 4 hours of messages before it fills up. If you've got that, I'm going to send an alert when I'm 80%. That means you're going to wait 3.5 hours, and then you're going to have half an hour to do something.
Yep. You have 20% left of your queue to actually respond to this thing, rather than being a bit more proactive and stuff. So it doesn't give the application team and the ops team enough time really to, doesn't give them much time. Obviously, one of the nice things about queue quotas is that they are, non-destructive. You can change that without impacting any service. So if you need to make your queue bigger, you can safely do that while there's apps running and stuff. So sometimes if you just have to make it a little bit bigger to give it a bit more time, you can do that. But that's obviously an ounce of, what is the expression? An ounce of prevention equals a pound of cure. So set your alerts a little sooner, and then the 25%. That is excellent. I'm happy to hear that. All right. Hey, we got hey Shrikant. Hey, hi, how's it going? Our colleague, our ex-colleague Shrikant. Hope you guys are safe and well. Yeah, default thresholds are too high. Yes, they are. Yep. Yes, they are. So
not anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. 20. I'm happy with 25%. 20 or 25. I think 40 is a bit high still, but 25, I'm actually quite happy about that. So that is great. All right, so you know what I want to do? Let's publish a few messages here. So in case anybody missed it, I just turned on replay. How do you turn on replay in Solace? You go to replay, say turn it on, give it a size, a gig, and then say start. And that's it. That's all there is to replay. It's now on and ready to go. So let's use, can you read this, Tom? Can you read things?
Oh, good.
All right, good. All right, so I'm going to publish directly. You know what? No, that's not best practice. You
obviously I was just about to say. Oh, I was about to get all upset.
That's right. Let's do this the Solace the proper way. So now this is actually something that a lot of newbies have, kind of still some trouble understanding, is the concept of queues with subscriptions. How you can publish on topics and receive on queues, and who's doing that mapping and where is it. I gotta increase the amount of documentation that we have, or maybe make a new video about this. But in this case, if we publish on a topic that the queue is listening on, the queue then attracts that message to it. That subscription mapping happens on a message by message basis as they come in. Topics are not objects on the broker. Subscriptions are, but topics are not. Topics are in the message. Each and every one can be different. So I've added a wildcarded subscription here, hello greater than, and we're going to go and now publish things that will match that particular topic. So it goes into the queue, right? Yes.
Yes. What do you think of the idea of calling it that a topic binding rather than a subscription on a queue?
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. Topic binding, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'd be okay with that. Yeah, but it is a subscription, right? I'd be.
Yeah, I mean, my problem with binding is I don't know. I'm just wondering if it's from its use in other contexts, whether it's a bit restrictive. I mean, does that mean that there's only one topic bound to the queue? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Right. So yeah, that's true, right? Well, you can have multiple topics bound. I can't say, like, as a Solace person who's been with Solace for too long, I like all these kind of entry level type of concepts. I just don't. It's hard to see things with fresh eyes, So a subscription on the queue, that works for me, but maybe that's binding is actually more, I don't know, more clear. Okay. So on the left here, we could obviously publish directly to the queue, point-to-point kind of MQ style messaging. We don't want to do that because that is boring and old. So we are going to publish on a topic that matches our subscription that we added. So hello world, publish one. There we go. Hello world from Aaron and Tom. Publish that. Boom, look at that. We got that one as well. That topic's getting a little bit long. Right, and we can publish, more messages that match that and everything. So There we go. We've got some messages published. We got a sender ID built in. They've turned that on. Was that on before? I can't remember. So my client here, my publisher client, I actually have two WebSocket apps here. If we actually took a look at the clients tab, you can actually see them. So here's my try me pub and try me sub, little JavaScript apps. I want to try the replay though, so that's what I want to see. It's 9.9, so this should actually work. Let's disconnect this consumer. We check out our queues. The queue is empty, as we thought, but I want to initiate a replay. Let's see how this works. Start a replay. That's new. But I don't know what the number is. How do I know what the number is?
What are we going to do? We're going to start replay from beginning and have a look at what's on the queue, consume them, and then show from one point, right? At least that demonstrates a new way of doing replay then.
So let's at least start. So let's load up all 5. So here's our 5 messages. I wonder if we can see them here. No. Can we see them? Oh, maybe message ID is. Oh, here it is. There it is. Ta-da!
There you go.
RMID 1 blah 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 blah.
Replication message ID. That. Well, hang on. Let's have a look at another message and see what it looks like.
Yeah. Okay. My guess is it's going to increment by.
There you go. So you've got the replication group and the message ID. So I think you need both for replay. Right?
And I think this is my broker name. I think this is the default host name of this guy.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay.
Let's do OC something. OC6DD.
OC6DD.
Nope.
No.
And something else then.
Is it host name versus router name? Looks like a host name, doesn't it?
Should be the same. No. I don't know.
Okay.
All right. I bet you if I can see us asking like headquarters, and they'll be like, "Don't worry about it. It's internal. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about what this number means." There's a 3. There's a 4. So you can see it increasing there. It might be tied to the publisher. I mean, it's supposed to be unique across. Not just it's going to have to be unique across a lot of things for this to actually work well. Hey, Gary has a comment there. Topic binding makes sense.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Gary.
Queue binding. I mean, so in Solace world, binding, when you're talking about it, means the client bound to the queue to receive the data, right? You're connecting to the queue in order to receive that data.
But I suppose it's a queue binding, isn't it, versus the topic binding?
Like a topic binding, like if you're a topic endpoint, I think you're bound to a topic endpoint. So I think the term bind or bound in Solace world is maybe a little bit overloaded, or I don't know. I mean, but it's queues with subscriptions, right? That's really what it is. But I don't mind binding. Binding's okay. All right, you know what I want to do? Let's consume those 5 messages, and then I want to try do it from the middle here. So let's copy this guy. So that's message number 3. So we should get 3, 4, and 5 if I replay from there, right? That should be how it works. All right, so go back to my queue. He still has 5 messages. Let's go back to my try me. Let's reconnect and resubscribe to my queue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, 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 boom. There they are. Yeah. Did you see how slow that was? I'm afraid that people might think that our persistent messaging is slow, and I'm like, no, it's there's a delay built into this try me tab.
Yeah, otherwise the messages just scroll past and you can't see what's going on, right?
That's right. So let's clear these messages, clear these stats, and now let's replay from a message ID.
Your subscribers there, it's going to get kicked off, isn't it, in the try me tab?
Well, let's see what happens. It should, but I mean, one of the cool new features. So when Solace came out with replay, quite a few customers started experiencing the fact that we have to knock the consumers off. We had to build in flow rebinding, automatic flow rebinding, and I know that this has been something that has been asked for many years, and it's now actually very convenient to have that built in. It means that your application does not have to specifically handle when you get a flow down event. I actually need to try and reconnect my flow to my queue. So it means like an administrator can do queue maintenance, for example, right? So say I need to shut down the egress of my queue because I want to change the access type. That requires you to shut down your egress. If you turn it back on, your queues will, or your clients will automatically rebind to the queue, which is pretty neat, without the apps needing to actually do anything. So
okay, let's back up a bit quickly.
Yeah.
Some introductory ideas. What is a flow? A flow is an API concept that enables the API to synchronize with the queue, so it knows what messages have been delivered, what messages to remove from the queue because they've been consumed, and what messages are outstanding. That's what a flow is. And the problem is when you hit replay, you're blowing away all of that state because the queue state is changing. So what you have to do is basically reset that flow. What we used to do before that Aaron was describing there is we used to say, well, do you know what? We can't reset the flow. That's not what it does. It's a stateful thing. So what we're going to do is disconnect you effectively from that flow. And now what we do is we say, yeah, we're going to disconnect you to reset the state. It's like hitting the reset button, but we allow you to reconnect automatically. Happy days. But it does impact other things apart from replay, as Aaron says. So, you know, often you might want to shut down the egress on the queue because you're doing some maintenance. And what you would have to do before is notify your application teams, you know, your app's going to go down. Well, your app's not going to go down. It's not going to be disconnected. But where it's consuming from queues, the flow is going to go down. So you, depending on how you handle it, you might have to shut down the app and restart it, that kind of thing. Now, just automatically reconnects. Happy days.
That's right.
And not reconnects, rebinds to the queue.
Rebinds. That's right. Your TCP connection, your connection to the broker is still there. It's the flow, which is your kind of virtual channel into that queue to receive messages, or your endpoint then gets restarted. So very cool, very convenient, I think, and simpler. So yeah, all right. So I have this typed in here. I'm gonna go ahead and hit start replay, and fingers crossed I get 3 messages. That's the after.
Yes, that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Because like you type in the one that you have, the last one that you have, and it starts from after that. So okay, so I should get 2 messages then, right? All messages stored in the queue will be deleted. Blah blah blah. You'll be disconnected.
Yeah, that's what we were saying about the flow being.
One. Oh,
hold on. Okay.
I wanted 2.
Hang on, we're pending. What state are we in?
Pending complete. Pending complete.
Oh, okay.
Pending complete and durable yes combined. It's because I'm zoomed in too far.
Yeah.
So there we did. We got 2. We got 2 messages. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Good.
Cool.
That is what I wanted. I guess my guess is this will refresh now over here, and I should say 0. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
it's just a graphical thing. Awesome. So 2 messages. So yeah, basically, you crash out hard. You obviously, if you want to use replay, you need to be logging these message IDs, right? So it must be stored as a user property, right? What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, let's find out.
Interesting. It'll be per queue, won't it? So yeah. Let's do sdkperf magic. Hopefully, most people, I imagine, know what sdkperf is. It's Solace's test harness tool. It exercises our Solace APIs and also does lots of lovely statistic gathering too.
That's right.
Yeah, so basically any API feature you can exercise through sdkperf.
I'm going to disconnect this guy. Actually, I'm kind of dumb. This is for like kind of a direct messaging snooper or listener. I do not want to
read from the queue, is it?
That's right. I need to do something a little bit different. Subscribe to the queue, Q1, and then do an MD. -MD is message dump. It will just dump everything to the console. So this is the very useful tool. There's a Java one. There's a JMS one, .NET. I use C a lot. I don't know why. I can't code in C anymore, so I don't know why I use this one. Let's go back to the queue here and let's replay those 2 messages one more time and see if we can see any extra details on, because our no thanks. There we go. Start replay. Yes, please. All right. I don't see it.
Interesting.
I wonder if it's because my API is too old. Maybe it's needs to be updated.
Yeah, possibly.
I don't know what version of sdkperf this is. Anyway, I'm sure it's in there somewhere. I'm sure, you know, it's that ID is somewhere. It has to be, right? It has to be in the message. How else is the
well, interesting. You're not displaying. Oh, yeah, you've got message ID there, but it's the old style.
Yeah, this is sender ID. This is the publisher.
No. Message ID.
Oh, this
last line from bottom, second last line from bottom. But that's the old style message ID.
That's local to the flow, right? That's publishers and any guaranteed publisher or subscriber will have a local, like within the API message ID. That doesn't really mean much on the broker. I wonder if this looks any different. I'm just gonna try one more time, just because I'm curious. It's probably gonna look the same, just because my guess is we have to update our APIs to use this.
I'm guessing so.
That would be my guess. So start that up. Let's put it on quiet mode so it's not doing all that jazz.
So as I was saying earlier, sdkperf does lots of lovely statistics gathering. The Java one prints out a statistic every second.
That's right. We got some comments here. All right. We copied message ID 3 and total messages 5. We received 2 messages only. Yes, that is what I was saying. But hey, madam, thanks for the comment. Yeah, that's because Tom obviously got it right. Obviously, you want to post in the last ID that you've successfully received, and then you're going to receive everything after that. So if you're downloading stuff from the queue and you're storing it and you're writing it to a disk or something, the last message ID is the last one that you successfully received and hopefully stored. If not, you have to give it 1 or 2 further back. And so the broker is going to send everything after that particular, not starting with that ID, but everything after that ID. So that's
the assumption is the message ID you've got is the last successfully received message. So you want everything from that point on, right?
Yes. So it's not 3 messages. That's what my first thought was, but it's not 3. It's everything after that one. And I think it actually said it.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah. So let's do this one more time. No, this one. So yeah, start. You think they should add that maybe to the dialogue where I posted in there? I posted the numbers, say everything after this one, like to make that more clear.
An idea.
Like I wonder how that works for time. Like if you say from 9 o'clock, does it send you 9:01 as the first message, or does it start at 9 o'clock? I don't know. See, folks, even Solace people don't know all the answers. Tom and I know some answers. We don't know all the answers. So, right. So here's the thing. Blah 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 blah. After.
First 2 words. Messages after that ID.
Yeah. There you go. So, madam, good catch. But yeah, it's for afterwards, and it's for good reason. So the last you give it the last number that you successfully processed. So you type in the one that you successfully processed, and Solace will then replay everything after that, after the one that you successfully processed. So, all right, start that up. Doodle-doodle-doo. Let's take a look. Do we have any extra data? Nope, no extra details. Yeah, I bet you that's my guess is I need a new API. I need a 9.9 API or something for it to actually work. Especially, if they've added a new, if it's part of the header, they've actually changed the header, then that means SMF has been upgraded, which would definitely mean we need a new API. It's not being stored as a user property. So my guess is, there would have been a user property in here, and that's where it would have been. But I think they've actually make it part of the.
I think it's probably a new header field. Aaron, can you scroll up just a couple of lines? Right. What we were saying earlier about automatic flow reconnection, handily sdkperf Java there has printed out our flow events. So there you go. It's got a flow event saying replay started, and the flow has been automatically reconnected. Excellent.
Yep. So
nice.
What do you think the difference is between flow reconnected and flow active?
So this would be towards our what's it called? So backing up a bit. this is all about, okay, what do you do about load balancing on queues, right? So you've got the option of an exclusive and a non-exclusive queue. In a non-exclusive queue, basically everybody's live and getting messages. And we'll round robin them based on which consumer is best able to receive the next message. Right, we'll look at the TCP window and the ADX and all that kind of thing and say, right, he's ready to get a message. He's the next one on the list. I'm going to send it to him. That's non-exclusive queuing. That gives you consumer load balancing. And there's the setting, right? Non-exclusive versus exclusive queues. Okay, right. So exclusive queues. In Solace, you can only have one consumer on an exclusive queue receiving messages. You can have multiple consumers, but only one will get messages. That's why it's an exclusive queue. Now that's consumer fault tolerance, right? So if your primary consumer crashes, stops, the next consumer that connected in time order will become active and start receiving messages. Now, it might be nice to tell our consumer who's been sitting there nicely waiting for something to happen that he's going to become the active consumer. And we call that active flow indication. And what we'll do is we'll send you an event to say, you're just about to go live. Why would we do that? Well, interesting. I've seen kind of two use cases. So it could be from an application level that let's say you're trying to write to, I don't know, a database or some other application, and there's kind of a lock on it, right? So you have to acquire that lock before you can actually say start writing data into the database. Active flow indication gives you that ability to say, oh, I've got to go, let me try and grab that lock. So that's kind of the application level use case. Another use case I've seen is to use an exclusive queue as a kind of network sentinel and say, right, I'm going to start up a bunch of applications.
It's a great one.
Only one of them needs to be live, and I'm going to actually use this active flow indication as a voting mechanism, basically, to say, okay, you've all started up at the same time. One of them got there first to grab the queue. You're now live. So that's another. I've seen that. I've seen
for like HA publishers. You know, like you want to make sure that only one person is active. Anything where you need kind of like a mutex or any kind of it's basically a network mutex, and everybody tries to connect to the queue, and whoever is active is the active guy. So it's a great way of doing leader election. I think we actually have a Solace community post where someone actually built leader election using exclusive queue as the mechanism, which is essentially first come first serve. But yeah, it's a great way to do distributed leader election without Zookeeper. Hey, maybe Kafka. You know what? Kafka just got rid of Zookeeper, didn't they? Like in whatever the most recent releases. I wonder if they use Solace exclusive queues as their. Maybe. That'd be funny. All right, let's get some more comments here. Karthik, hey, how's it going? Thanks for joining. Is it possible to configure Solace Cloud under Azure Cloud?
Oh, boy,
Solace under Azure Cloud. Hey, Tom, you answer that while I do some things here.
Yeah. So, Karthik, absolutely. So, it's so possible. Our cloud team will even do it for you if you if you pay them enough money or sign up for a trial cloud plan, right? So yes, it's absolutely possible. I'm trying. So the options are: you can take a messaging as a service, software as a service offering. So our cloud team will provide you with the service in Azure Cloud. You can also, kind of do a more basic kind of just spin a broker up on an Azure VM. Now I'm trying to remember the status of Kubernetes. Aaron, you might have to remind me. There's the Azure Kubernetes service, and I think we support that now. I can't remember whether, we must do, right? So if you want to deploy under Kubernetes, you can do that too. One of the things the cloud team is quite happy to do actually is if you're in Azure Cloud and you've got your own, now hang on, Azure Cloud, so that's not a VPC, that's a VNet.
VNet, yes.
We will provision in your VNet for you. So basically you stand up the infrastructure and pay for the infrastructure. And to keep all your data within your cloud subscription, we'll start up a messaging plan inside your Azure subscription. Super cool. So yes, long story short, we support Azure. What's more, in the last release, we added a whole bunch of connectors for Azure Cloud. So
right.
if you want to connect directly into, now there's 3 event hubs, Azure Functions, and Azure Service Bus. We have these like click to connect functions. Aaron, if you've got the broker,
we just released GCP as well. So 9.9 has GCP. So,
but Azure went first. So
Azure was first. That's right. We
Yeah.
made some modifications to our outbound REST connections, our RDPs, to allow them to easily integrate with Azure. So out of these 3, I guess that's the most, at least for the connections, that's the most mature, right?
Yeah.
But,
do you want to click on it, Aaron? We can just have a quick look, make sure I've got the 3
sure.
right.
I've never done this before.
There you go. Yeah. Event Hubs, Service Bus, and Azure Functions, right? So built into
easy
the
integration.
GUI, basically, you just click on that, supply your, your Azure credentials. There you go. Yeah, just click Authenticate, and it will take you to the next one. There you go.
Oh.
So you just supply a name, that's your name, and then just client ID and client secret, and away you go. You're connected to Azure Event Hubs. How cool is that?
So I mean, but just running the broker, obviously, yes, we can run the broker in Azure, and we have lots of customers that have been doing that for years, probably. I mean, we've been in Azure for quite a while, and you could connect to brokers running in on-prem or running in wherever, right? It's doesn't matter where it runs. It's all everything. All your apps will be talking the same kind of technology under the covers, which makes easy integration across multi-cloud if you want to do that stuff as well.
Well, it's not necessarily multi-cloud, Aaron. So a customer of mine, they've got what they call their on-premise broker, which is quite funny, but that's actually a broker running in their Azure subscription. Okay, and that's for accessing. What they've basically done is they're kind of network paired their Azure subscription with their on-premise infrastructure, right? So if you've got, say, a piece of on-premise systems like an ERP system that's on-prem, the network is actually paired with their Azure subscription, so you can see that. And then what they do to access like software as a service services, so I don't know, what's the CRM system? Salesforce, that's right. So if you want to access Salesforce or something like that, they've actually got a broker in Azure again, but that's in like an external subscription. So obviously there's a whole different set of security rules and what you can do and you can't do, and there's all the different authentication that you need to do externally. They've then connected the 2 together in an event mesh. Thanks for the slide, Aaron. Yeah, that's perfect. So even though they're in Azure cloud and they're actually in the same region, it's kind of like a multi-cloud deployment. So there's so many different ways you can do this stuff. But what it enables them to do basically is have a very controlled, high performance kind of 2 different security regions. It's quite nice.
That's pretty cool. So yeah, hey, great question. The short answer is yes. The long answer is just what we talked about for 5 minutes. Do some Googling, and if you want to check out the integrations, download the Docker broker or the OVA for VirtualBox, whatever, and check that out under Connect. So thanks. Great question. Giri has something to say here. On the replay, you can pick a queue for replay. Similarly, it'd be useful to choose which queues to record for replay. Bit efficient, not storing anything.
Yes.
All right.
Yep. What do you think, Aaron?
Why? Well, so the way that Solace Replay works is every persistent message in a VPN, or every message that gets promoted to a queue, so even direct messaging, will get attracted to the replay log as well. And the reason for that is because you need to be able to come back later, possibly, and recreate and create a new queue with new subscriptions that might not have existed before. Maybe more fine-grained, like ACL type of stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna take a bit of exception with that. Actually, a replay really actually is topic-based.
Yeah,
with a queue being a specific topic.
Endpoint.
Well, right. Hear me out. So, well, you think about it. What you can do is create a new queue and invoke replay on the new queue. We could actually demonstrate that, couldn't we?
Wait, what am I doing? I forgot. I just
okay.
Listening
Go
to
queues.
Yeah.
Go create a new queue. Excuse me. Q2.
Dying.
Right. Now, our new queue is going to be a new
Yeah.
topic that we've never actually sent any messages to. So what we need to do is create a subscription on that queue or a topic binding. Right, let's pick a
subscription.
Yeah, all right, go on then. So we need our hello greater than, because it needs to be a topic for which we've already sent messages. God, I do hope this works. Good. Right, now let's initiate replay on that queue.
Yeah.
And we'll go from the beginning.
Hey, can you initially replay on 2 queues? Probably not. Huh, I wonder if this would work. Hold on, I want to try
let's
this.
have a look. So this will be 2 separate API calls, so let's see what it does.
It might blow up. Oh, it does. Huh, 5 and 5 and 5. Cool.
Can
so
you
here we
refresh? I can't see that. I'm not seeing 5 and 5. I'm seeing 1 and 0.
Oh, it's because I still have a consumer. It's because I still have a consumer. Yeah, this guy's connected here.
Okay, can we go back to the GUI because it's quite important?
I'll turn them off there. Yep.
Right. So we've created a new queue that we didn't have when we sent the messages in, but we've managed to do replay on it because of the subscription on that new queue. So replay is actually topic based. It's not queue based.
Yep.
You initiate it on a queue, but the messages are stored by topic.
Yep.
So Giri, to answer your question, yes, it would be nice to be able to choose not which queues, but which topics are recorded for replay. And that feature is in development now.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know when it's planned to be released. I can't remember. But it is something that is planned / in implementation. I'm not sure which.
That might make this setup a little bit more difficult or more complicated rather than turn on, go.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking for a development broker, you probably just do everything. Because what you want to do is, and I've completely lost my train of thought here. What was that? Oh, right. Okay. An important point with Solace Replay is that we do automatic trimming. So as your replay log fills up, we will automatically start trimming from oldest first. It's
not like a queue where it fills up and then it blocks things. It will auto trim so that if you tell it to store like 3 years worth of data and you only have enough for 2 years, then in 2 years time it's going to start trimming that queue unless you've unless you make it bigger somehow. That's a good point. So Madam here, first consumer consuming the messages, remaining connected but standby. Yeah, that's for exclusive queues, and that guarantees you that you're going to be processing everything in order. Non-exclusive queue, because it's doing load balancing, round robin delivery, you now have parallelization happening, and obviously you can't have any guarantees on order.
I was talking to colleague of ours, Henrik, who's Swedish. And as often happens with people that don't speak English as a native language, he started correcting me on the words I was using. Parallelism versus concurrency. Parallelism is a kind of spatial concept, 2 lines parallel. Concurrency is a temporal construct, as in things happening at the same time. There you go.
He is a pretty smart guy, so I kind of trust. But I mean, in terms of parallel computing, that is a common term, right? There's my university had a lab, that was a parallel computing lab, and it was all about distributed algorithms and stuff. And come on, parallelism, maybe.
Anyway, thought that was interesting.
Wrong button. Yeah, that is interesting. He is a smart guy, so I'll trust him on that. All right, cool. Hey, so all right, we've downloaded the broker. We only have 10 minutes left, man. But we got to see that new replay by message ID. That was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
That is very, very useful. I want to kind of see. I'm pretty sure that direct messaging getting promoted also gets stored in the replay log. So I just want to check that while we're playing here.
It always has done. If you look in replay, there's two queues.
Yeah. People often ask what these queues are for. Replay log default and replay topics.
Now I think the topics one is for promoted messages. I can't remember.
Let's find out. If they're in different queues, then how do All right, so I'm just going to do sdkperf local host. I'm going to do publish the topic equals hello direct. One message, 100 bytes. Anything else? Direct by default.
Yeah, you could set NT persist direct just for
that's the default. But you're right,
default.
MT. All right, so published one message. I refresh that. There's my one message in my queue. And nope, it's up there. It's in the same replay log. So yeah, so direct published promoted messages also go into your log. So that is useful to know.
Here you go.
What if the queue shut down? There's all sorts of like corner cases I'm thinking of here. Shut this down. Now these queues aren't listening to these messages.
Yeah, but the subscription is still there. Interesting.
Yeah, exactly. The subscription's still there. Is it? I guess I should delete these messages first. Well, how am I going to do a replay? Oh yeah, no, it doesn't matter. We're going to publish a direct message. Let's see what happens. So publish one more. Let's see if it goes to 7 or if it stays at 6. It does 7. So even if your queue is shut down and you have direct matching subscription, then that's cool. All right,
that's what you want.
That's enough. Yeah. We got 10 minutes. Let's take a quick peruse through the community, see if there's any burning questions there. I haven't plugged it yet. Everybody out there listening, hopefully you're all members of the Solace community, where you can come and ask questions and we can talk about all the various things. The new Java API is EA. This is something I've been I've been playing with. I actually spent some time this weekend coding the new Java API, some samples for that. A bunch of sample work is part of my end of April kind of work. So stay tuned for that. I got some samples at Loop now. Tom, you're probably familiar with our existing kind of hello worldy type samples that don't loop. So I got some ones that do. Very exciting. Some Spring Cloud Streams. I still don't know Spring Cloud Stream that well. I'm gonna have to download it and play with it a little bit more. Hong did actually post about it. So if you want to see the blog post about, or the kind of the announcement that 9.9 got released. Oh, nope, this is 9.8. Oh, Hong, that's the wrong. I think that's the wrong. May 4th is yeah, that's the right date, but I think it was 9.9. Oh well, that's okay. We'll have to get that post corrected there. There's our EA Java Beam pipeline. Have you ever played with Beam, Tom?
Funnily enough, yeah. Just had a customer replace a Mule-based analytics pipeline with a Beam-based one. So absorbing all of the information flowing across their event-based architecture and pulling it directly into Beam.
That's cool. It looks like this person is just trying to figure out how to extract the topic name from that. So,
well, you've got the Solace Beam connector code, and of course, one of the first things that does is access the message in Java. So I imagine what this person is doing is they're probably using the connector, and then they're writing their Java for Beam to run. And they probably need to make it available coming out of the connector. Yeah,
I'm sure the topic is somewhere in there, right? Like it would be.
Yeah, I mean the connector is just Java and Java code using JCSMP. So.
Yeah. So something to check out. I mean, Beam. So some of our colleagues here in Singapore, they're going to be doing some Beam ingest, trying to do kind of AI and ML on monitoring data. So pipe a bunch of monitoring data into Beam and see if we can get some statistics and kind of alerting based on that without actually having to code any alerts. We do have one more question here. Well, rather than going on, what's the use of sequence topic feature? Right. Tom, do you want to cover that one while I kind of poke around the community a bit more?
Yeah, sure.
We,
Okay, so what is a sequence topic? Oh God, I've got to remember the details of how this works. Um,
but this is, I mean, if we're
now
talking
you
about
aren't
like
really gonna.
the old school topic, was it called sequence topics? It was called
Yeah.
sequence topics. That has been deprecated since like 6 dot something or 7 dot something. It was, if it's the old one, it was to do with Solcache RS, our old replay server. If we're talking about the new message ID though, which is a
Mm,
sequence, then it's
right.
used for, so yeah, Abhikash, is it are you talking about the old school sequence topic? I think it's
Mm.
all been hidden from CLI. I'm pretty sure it's been disappeared from everywhere. So
So
that
just looking
shouldn't
at the
exist.
documentation, it does say sequence topics. This feature is deprecated and should not be used.
Yeah.
Mm.
But if we're talking about the new message ID, which is also a sequence because it has to is used for replay. It's used for replay and allows you to do replay by message ID, which is what we were just doing like 10, 15 minutes ago. So yeah, if you're talking about the old school sequence topic feature, yeah, it's deprecated. Don't use that. I understand it's still deprecated, but you're still using it. Oh man. Wow, are you at Barclays?
Mhm.
I'd be I'm wondering. Yeah, so sequence topics was built, I know because I was around for this, but um Solace built a modified our last value cache to act as a replay server, and we call it Solcache RS. And it used a similar API call to regular Solcache to be able to request a replay from some period back in time. Um, right. So still using it, and you would like some more about the working principles. So within, so for this thing to work, basically there had to be kind of a unique monotonically increasing number assigned to every message that came in for specific topics. So as part of your Solcache RS configuration, you would say, my cache is storing these 1,000 different topics. Um, and you couldn't use wildcards for the sequencing. You had to actually specify uh, whole topic names, so no wildcards, and specify all of the topics on which ones you wanted to sequence. And so the broker, as messages are arriving into the broker, be it from one or multiple publishers, as they go through the messaging processing pipeline, they would get assigned a unique increasing ID number, a sequence number based on this sequence topics feature. That way, when it was written into Solcache RS, the replay server, it would know that this is the sequence of things, and then you could replay them based on a old sequence number. So that's roughly it. There was some there are some issues, I believe, with regards to like VPN bridges and stuff. When you had multi-regional setup, and you had like New York and London and whatever, and you had sequence topics being generated in both locations, if any of the data ever bridged across and the topics happened to be the same, the sequencing would get messed up because it would suddenly you're getting a different sequence number coming in, or messages that already had a sequence number assigned. So this is very, yeah. So that's roughly it. Um, uh, hey, if you want, come onto Solace community, sign up and ask us some questions there. I might be able to dig up some old documentation. If you guys are still using it, I might be able to find you something that maybe explains it a bit better. It is deprecated though, so maybe there's a better way to do whatever it is that you're doing. Unless this is old legacy applications that can't be changed. But yeah, that's this is the power of features. You're right. I mean, they're still using this, and we deprecated it at least 3, 4, 5 years ago, I would guess, at least. Um, but yeah, that's roughly what it is. It's a on the broker in the VPN, you specify which topics you want sequence numbers added to, and it was specifically to support our old replay server capability. And we got rid of it because I think it was just there was just some weird corner cases that it was difficult to solve. So um, I'm guessing they had to solve something similar with this new message ID, this
Right, exactly right.
replicated, yeah,
Yeah, it's a network safe
um,
ID, right?
network safe ID, right? Yeah, because
Yeah.
with now that we have more than just VPN bridges, we have DMR. DMR is way more complicated than, so we had to guarantee uniqueness across DMR links and have ordering, so that when you do a replay, everything's in the right order. That's pretty complicated. Anyway, thanks for the question there. Well, Tom, we're at the top. Yeah, go.
Yeah, Java 2.
Java 2.
Java 2 API.
Java 2. Oh, the new Java API.
Yeah.
I don't think we're calling it Java 2. I don't think it has a name other than just Java API, as compared to our old JCSMP API. Yeah, what about it?
Oh,
Call it out. Early access availability. Yep. Right up here. It is quite a departure from our existing C.NET Java. So JCSMP, the Solace's existing Java API, is probably our oldest one. It's been around since the content routing days. That's why you'll see like the term XML peppered throughout it. This is a brand new API, super modern, much more kind of current in terms of Java utilization. One thing that I found out, all the exceptions are unchecked, because apparently in modern frameworks, that is what you want to do. You want all of your exceptions to percolate up and out of the container or the object to the framework that is calling your particular application. I'm an old school Java guy. I'm used to checked exceptions, and I was like weirded out that there is no. I was writing the code, and it's like connect, subscribe, publish, and there's like I didn't have to do any try catch blocks. I'm like, what is going on? How is this happening? And then of course, it's a bunch of unchecked exceptions. So if you want to try and catch it yourself, you can. It's documented. It's in the Java docs. But if you don't want to try and catch it yourself and just like blow up like a microservice might want to, you throw that unchecked exception out of your code to the Kubernetes environment that's running you, and they can now deal with it, right? So it's actually, I've had to think about it, and I've read some blogs, the checked versus unchecked, and the consensus is unchecked exceptions have to go. So how about that? I gotta change my old school ways. Anyway, quite a few other things in there as well. Different ways of kind of defining consumers. It supports topic dispatch. So something that people have been asking about for a long time for JCSMP. Topic dispatch we support in our C API. This is where you can have different callbacks for different subscriptions in the API.
Yeah, so basically different piece of code depending on what topic the messages come in on. So you can handle the message differently. Kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. We have that for queues. So when you bind to a queue, you instantiate a flow receiver, and you can have a different callback for each queue, which is good because most queues probably have different types of data. You probably want to parse it differently. But for our direct messaging, it was in Java, it was always the same callback, and you had to do some kind of if else or switch statement or something in your callback. So now the API, the new Java API, supports topic dispatch and a bunch of other cool stuff. Go download it. I've written some samples. They will be on GitHub soon. There are some samples already there, but they're more like snippets. And so I'm writing some more kind of like actual apps that run and do stuffs and things. So yeah. All right. So hey, Tom, we're done. We're actually over time here. So thanks for joining. As always, it's great to have you. You always make me slow down and repeat. You catch me on things where I'm just like trailing off. So appreciate that. We had some great questions from people. Thanks for joining us. I hope if you're watching this replay, you find it useful. And Tom, do you have any closing words before I sign us off here?
Not really. Just thanks for joining. Hope you found it useful.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Excellent. Well, from Aaron and Tom, thanks for joining. And see you next time. All right.
See you soon. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.